it was my duty to welcome new students to the school, tell them what a great place this is, what a great academic environment, what a great social environment it is. And we had some of the heads of New College welcome the students on our orientation week and say, you should be proud. You're welcome to what is now, according to several rankings, 17th best university in the world.
This tutorial for the ecology class meets every 3 weeks, and all students are expected to attend, although attendance isn't mandatory, so we get usually not all 495 students coming, but at least several hundred.
And I sort of thought that was like a sort of a lie in a sense, sort of a fallacy, because you're coming into a university that's literally starting to burst at the seams.
As a member of CUPE 3902, the bargaining process is about much more than asking for higher wages. It's about improving the quality of education at the University of Toronto.
And so it's sort of like, I'm proud to go here. I think this is an academic institution with a lot of great history. And I'm a proud U of T student, but it kind of it upsets me that sort of our education is sort of crumbling beneath us.
I teach 2 tutorials at UTM. It's for Anthropology 101, which is Intro to Bioanth and Archaeology.
For a lot of us being our first year, fresh out of high school, it was really important to have that tutorial.
You have smaller contexts where we can not just talk about text, but talk about writing skills. This was really important.
And skills that aren't just important for students in English discipline, like working on a thesis, working on the structure of a paper that TAs often, or classes often just expect you're supposed to be able to write a paper at the university level. This tutorial gave you the skills to make that transition.
They're great tutorials. I'd say they're the perfect size. They're about 20 students each. It gives me a great opportunity to get to know the students, to meet them, work with them one-on-one during the tutorial time. And it's a practical, laboratory-based type, so there's a lot of hands-on, and it really gives them the chance to have them work in groups, and it's a good atmosphere.
Tutorials are getting much worse here at the University of Toronto. In 2006, we had 40% of tutorials being 20 or fewer students. Now that's pretty good. The problem now, though, is that only 23% of tutorials are at this size of being 20 or less, which we think is a reasonable size for tutorials to be. Now we have a problem where over 25% of tutorials are 50 or more students. Over 42% have more than 35 students per tutorial. We even see over 100 tutorials with more than 100 students.
And Miriam was great at facilitating conversation and dialogue about the text and bringing up ideas that you might not have realized, or underlying texts like Lolita and complex texts that you wouldn't have thought while you were reading, that's something that you could be thinking about.
It's much more intimate, so you just get to know everyone better and you feel like you can actually say your ideas, whereas in the large tutorials you think, oh, that idea isn't good enough. You're just not comfortable, and because of that, just the conversations aren't as good, and I feel like the learning experience suffers.
I've been doing this for many years now, and I think I've sort of become like a decent tutorial teacher, and the impression that I get from the students is that they show up at the beginning of the semester and see what kind of tutorial they're going to be sitting in, and realize that this is not a great learning environment for them, and this is not a setting that they're going to be getting a whole lot out of.
We're saying we have some problems, let's find some creative solutions to these problems. We're willing to negotiate on exactly what they should look like. The problem, for example, is that tutorials are too big, and students aren't getting a good education because the tutorial sizes are too big. So how do we solve this problem? Now, we've presented a certain amount of ideas. These are some suggestions, but we really need the administration to come back at this time to the negotiation table and seriously engage with us in finding some solutions. The best thing that we've heard so far is an offer of a working group. The problem with a working group is that that has already been done. We did that at the end of our last rounds of negotiations. The problem has been well understood, so we don't need any more working groups. We actually need some concrete action.